Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this morning I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. I went through all the stories this morning, and of course, there's lots of stories on Donald Trump and crazy stories on Laura Loomer. The story of what's going on in Tennessee with two black Democrats being expelled. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about, and I haven't done a recovery video in a long time. So I came across a few articles. I actually was, while I was going through my phone, I saw on TV, I don't know if it's Entertainment Tonight, it was on something. I keep seeing stuff about Jeremy Renner. He's one of my favorite actors. The Marvel Universe is one of my favorite uh, franchises. I love all those shows. Me and Audrey used to watch them. Couldn't wait for them to come out. Um, and Jeremy Renner is one of my favorite actors. It's some of the stuff he said stuck in my mind, and I wanted to talk about it here today. Um, these are just my opinions, and I'm sure people will always disagree with me, and that's great. I love to hear other opinions. Because the way I interpret something isn't the way other people interpret something, and that's what makes things great. That's what makes YouTube great. So let me hear your comments on this. Anyway, the comment from Jeremy Renner that really caught my attention was after his snowplow incident. Apparently, he had his phone, and he was writing his last thought, what he thought was going to be his last thoughts, his last words to his family. And something really stuck out to me. He said that if I have to live on tubes and painkillers, please just let me go now. And I really thought about that. I thought about watching my dad pass away from terminal brain cancer when I was 9 years old. And the day he passed, he was already gone to me. I thought about how I wish the doctors would have just left him alone and just let him go instead of constantly torturing him. The painkillers and stuff he was on, he didn't even recognize me anymore. I thought of that, but I thought of my own experience with painkillers, and I want to talk about that just a little bit. And I agree. I think Jeremy Renner made an especially good choice right there. My experience with painkillers, addiction has been in my life since I was 14 or 15 years old. Apparently, I've always had an addictive personality, or it was in my family, or there's a lot of different thoughts on this. Through my 20s and through my 20s and half of my 30s, cocaine was my drug of choice. Crack. Initially, it was cocaine first, and then I started getting more involved in the business of it, and I ended up using crack cocaine. Opioids were never, back then, opioids were never my drug of choice. I remember actually kind of mocking people that used opioids. Like I thought, what I was doing was so much better. And, what's so fun about falling asleep? I didn't get it until I had a disc injury in my back. I worked as a truck driver, and I ruptured a disc in my back. And these were severe injuries where I had what they call drop foot, and then there was nerve damage down my leg. And I was actually sent back to work by the company doctor. And the disc in my back actually ruptured and broke apart into two pieces, and a piece of it got wedged against the nerves. And that's when I knew the meaning of true pain. And I want to talk about that a little bit. The pain I was in, like I said, I couldn't really use my leg. I had to crawl from, I stopped using my bedroom because my bedroom was upstairs. So I started sleeping on the floor in my living room so I could crawl to the kitchen. I lived alone. So I could crawl to the kitchen to use the microwave up on the counter, and I could crawl to the bathroom. I swear to God. The pain was just insane. Like I said, the broken piece of disc was wedged against my nerves. And I remember going to the doctor, and he took x-rays, and he was cautious. He took x-rays and everything. And he came back in the room, and he said, I see you are in pain, because he saw that the disc was wedged against my nerve. And he prescribed me Percocets right there. And I remember going home that night, and this pain was just, I can't even describe this pain, how horrific it is. I remember a woman telling me, she had 3 kids, and she told me she had the same kind of back injury. She told me that this is a woman that told me this, swear to God, that her back injury was more painful than giving birth to her 3 kids. It was constant, never ending, every second of every minute of every hour of every day, enough to drive me insane, really. To the point where you can't think, you can't talk. It's just a never-ending stabbing, incredible pain, not to mention the fact that I couldn't walk. I went home and the Percocets did nothing. They just made me foggy. The doctor ended up prescribing me 3 different prescriptions, 40 milligram Oxycontins, 5 milligram instant release Oxycontins, and extra strength Percocets, all 3 of them to be taken at the same time. As a matter of fact, when I went to have these filled out at the pharmacy, the pharmacist wouldn't fill them until he called the doctor first and verified, because he had never seen so many opioids prescribed. This was back in 2000, prescribed to one person before. This is the point I want to get to. For me, these painkillers did not get rid of the pain. That pain was always still there. All those painkillers did, and the only way I can describe this is they made me not care. The painkillers stifled my emotions and my feelings. The pain was always still there. I still couldn't walk. It just got to the point where I really didn't care about it. I was more able to ignore the pain, but the pain was always there. Now, here's the reason I say, Jeremy Renner made a very good choice about this, about not wanting to live on painkillers. Because after about, I continued getting Vicodin for years even after the pain was gone. I had 2 surgeries and the pain was gone. And then I have total numbness in one leg, but the pain's gone. And I continued getting Vicodin for years, extra strength Vicodin every week. And I would take the whole bottle in one day, 20 pills all at once. And then I would substitute it with street drugs. And that's how my opioid addiction, I switched kind of from cocaine and crack being my drug of choice to opioids. Now here's where it really affected me. Once I got clean and sober, my emotions came back, my feelings, and I had no idea that these drugs had stifled my emotions, my true personality. All of a sudden, I'd be watching, after I'd been clean and sober for about I think it was about 4 to 6 months, or maybe even less than that. I'd start crying, just a snap for no reason at all. I would flip out. I would get enraged. I was not used to feeling my natural emotions again. I remember just watching a TV commercial, and this would happen like 8-10 times a day. And I would just start bawling, and I'd get angry and sad, and because I realized that my emotions were coming back. My emotions, what these drugs had did was stomp down my personality and my emotions. The pain was always still there. These, I don't know why they call them painkillers, because for me, the pain was always still there. The only thing these pills did was made me not care about it. Made me not care about anything, really. So when I saw Jeremy Renner talk about how he didn't want to live on painkillers, I thought that was an incredibly wise choice. I'm sure he's going through incredible pain now, going through rehabilitation, because I've broken other bones where I've had, and rehabilitation is one of the most incredibly, oh man, I can't even, that pain is a whole nother level. But I would rather go through the pain, everyday pain of rehabilitation, than try to deal with painkillers and have my personality snuffed out and my emotions snuffed out like they were. This is what really happens. And I didn't realize it for years until after I quit using opioids, what they really had done to me, how they took away my personality. I wouldn't be sitting here in front of this camera. I wouldn't be doing any of this. I wouldn't be doing my art. I probably wouldn't have my family. I'd probably be in jail. I guarantee I would either be in jail or I'd be dead. I guarantee it, if I hadn't been clean since October 23rd of 2006. But the thing is, you don't realize this while you're taking these drugs. You have no idea. You think they're really, until you stop taking them, and then you realize the pain was always there. It just got to the point where you just didn't really care about the pain. Again, this is my opinion. I'm sure there's people out there that'll disagree with me or whatever. That's great. Please leave your comments and let me know what you think. Painkillers, a lot of the times, it's better, in my opinion, to suffer horrific pain than try to deal with an opioid addiction, because it changed my brain. It changed it changed my entire life. I'm still, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna have to fight this craving I have on a daily basis for opioids for the rest of my life. I will be an addict, a recovering addict. But I'm thankful I have my personality and my emotions back again, the real me. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video, you guys. Have a good Saturday.